better just because they have, you know, the Omen in play as well, plus everything else. But I do think missing out on the Sentinel might be a little bit painful. They do really want to play the race for clearing angles. Boombot is actually quite good on A as well. So I think both teams are going to be quite geared for A. You'll be putting the wall down in the tunnel, which is where Anger is now, and then both teams will be hitting probably more so towards A. And definitely for V1, you can already see that they're gearing up for it.
Okay, well, we'll see what unfolds here. Version 1 had 12 straight offensive round wins on Split. Can they do something similar here? It all starts, of course, with the pistol. And for V1, it will be a full 5-man hit over towards A defensively for Rise. They will have 3 members stacked, and more will start to join the effort, but they will be here just a touch late. Recon Bolt will fade away. Sky Smokes are down. But Version 1 are still struggling to make a lot of headway onto the site. Wall will come through just to block off part of the site.
Good
the paint shells will deny, and everything will reset. Riku around the back has also stalled any reinforcements for helping at least Celsius get this plant down.
I mean, we'll see if he can get out alive, though. Plant's there. Yeah, there we go. The last Sky Smoke being used up. Mariko has the angle. A couple of missed shots from both teams. Paranoia being played in. A Rise coming for the full retake now. Even a defuse coming in early. Recon Destroy, but will reveal Vanity's position. 17 HP for Neptune as well. Not looking too healthy for the rest of E1.
Oh, but the Molly comes down. Version 1 able to find a couple of trade back kills until Poise is able to find a couple of eliminations. Diffuse in the way. Shock Dart isn't good. A little bit long. Effie's, can he get there in time? No, the wall blocks him off. And the spike diffuse will be in. Effie's looking for one final kill. Will get it, but that triple is not going to feel all that positive in a round that you lose. But maybe there's a consideration that you could consider forcing here with the plan and the kills, and that seems to be the case.
He actually dropped the gun over. You see that Effie's at 2,900. He doesn't buy anything here. He drops a gun for Penny. That is, in terms of Effie's being a support player, that is one of the most invaluable things. I can't actually, you know, commend Effie's enough for doing something like that, because a lot of players would be far too selfish. They would never give everything away. Effie's doesn't buy any. He's got nothing. He's got no guns, no armor, no utility at all. You can see what he's got. Just the recon, the base recon you start with, and that's it. The gun he puts in the hands of his teammate, who was at Showtime. No, I'm looking at the wrong person. Penny there. That's got to count. Penny has to make this count.
Well, they're going to know the Vandal's in play here. He's revealed that this weapon is on the table. A little bit of hovering going on as we go from container to container. Neptune wants to challenge the outside of yellow, and no! Penny's hero rifle's down. That should be collected, no problem. Neptune will throw a Boombot out just to see if they can contest this. And the second peek, player 1 is good for an elimination. And I guess I'm just kind of wondering who found this rifle. It is Vanity who's picked it up. Stim Beacon was also down. Riku, okay, he's in an angle to where maybe you can get a quick Marshall shot off. Oh, little drop shot off. The shock darts are a touch too long, so the spike does get planted, and now a post-plant setup here for V1.
The shocks nearly hit. If the shocks actually hit, that would have been a kill, possibly even, you know, preventing the plant from coming in. Here comes the swing from Anger, though. With a bit of assist coming through from Poise. I think a 4v2 here. Rise should be able to get this one for sure. Unless player 1 can do some extra damage. Effie's nothing more to really show for it. And maybe a potential chance. Even you saw that player 1 did get the 3rd kill, but between player 1 and Effie's, not going to really happen. I'm not too sure where that final rifle went to in terms of who was picking it up. Maybe Effie's had it, but it doesn't matter. It's in the hands of Rise now.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but Vanity died, so I'm not too sure if anyone picked it up, you know. Yeah, so maybe Effie's picked it up after Vanity died. It was a massive hand-me-down gun that's out of the picture now for sure.
What is that worm doing in such a high location? That's not a place for worms. I'm telling you.
It's the wrong climate.
And in the next round we go. It's going to be pretty even weaponry across the board. A slight advantage overall for Rise, as you would figure, but they will still hold on to 2 SMGs, and there are a couple of light armors in the mix, so there is kill potential off of this for V1. But their offense, even though they have had successful plants, their post-plant setups have been broken down pretty nicely from Rise so far, so that will need to change. Effies will scout out that there is an Aldrone nearby, so they should know that Riku is in the area, but it's Riku who walks away with a ton of info. Sees 2 at least, if not maybe even potentially more. Showtime up top, lots of damage, but no kill. And an attacking lockdown will be spent very early to try to gain control of the A site. Will be contested initially. The barrier orb also comes down, but one of the segments have been broken. Shock darts also being exchanged, and eventually Rise will have to reset this as the lockdown will actually get 1 player detained.
And pretty successful post plant here as well. Notice that player 1 and Penny still have guns going to this round, despite there being Buckies in play.
Whoa.
Here we go. Massive jumping with Neptune, but Punish still even kills, so Vanity gets another hit on 3 now. And that will be the cleanup for sure. There's no way that Riku can do more. Between Penny and Vanity, it's all 5. And in a 5v5 post plant, you even used up a lockdown to prevent Rice from getting any sort of positioning. Yeah, V1 had that one in the bag.
Bucky meta question mark? I mean, click,
Range.
boom! I mean, my goodness. Later, thanks for trying, and how about one more? Goodness gracious. And even that last shot you thought for a second, just give the boy a 4th, why don't you?
I mean, just the range you're operating at with your Vanity playing over on for A. I mean, this is the thing about playing on A. I think you can get a lot done on A, you know, via razors, via shotguns as well. I'd be surprised if V1 want to play too many times over to B. I think most teams will tell you that A is just a better site. I mean, post plants are difficult in B as well. You really have to take a lot more control over into mid, over into orange. A lot of teams don't like to play for mid. The only team I've seen play for a lot of mid control is actually Gen G. And outside of that, most teams just kind of give it up.
Well, even in that game with Gen G, we were surprised to see them kind of largely going over towards B. Here comes the same hit, though. Slow orbs are out. Nano swarms as well. The entirety of the site is just taken over by zone of control abilities. Effys does find first blood as Riku was trying to play through his sky smoke. Spike successfully planted. Vanity finds another elimination. Lots of ultimates to be used here if required. Beautiful shock dart placement, and Zelsa's even running with it to try to make the play happen. Last player is on the flank. Player 1 has read it. Back and forth we go. Taps and we have, and player 1, he cleans things up. Flawless for version 1. And outside of the pistol and the anti-eco, it's been the same convincing V1 that we saw on Split.
And notice, by the way, the buys in that particular round, didn't get a chance to really talk about it too much, but there was 2 Marshals there, one for Neptune, one for Showtime, and Marshals aren't going to do a lot on this map because, I mean, teams would first of all have to really play for mid in terms of attacking side. Teams would have to play for B in terms of going long. Marshals could be decent for playing long angles on anyone that is on belt for A, but, you know, V1 just aren't playing there because not even sniping yet, are they? So it's a situation where both these Marshals end up finding 0 value, and then obviously on the retake, they're not going to find any value either. So pretty difficult so far. Operator now is to play for Showtime, though. That's going to be better if we can find something.
Effys opening up with the Hunter's Fury, does get one of the 3 to connect. Zelsis, barrier orb down, slow orb up top, Sky smokes the block. Vanity's also still able to find first blood, so another big advantage here for version 1 early, and a 5v4. Still plenty of ultimates to also spend in case they do need it. And he's still pretty safe for now. Over through yellow, but he's going to have to back off this angle as soon as these sky smokes dissipate, and he very well will. And for Rise, I don't know how you retake this. You've got to try to get yellow control if at all possible, but Penny has been lights out. The Showstopper, like you mentioned, maybe a tool to be used. The Orbital Strike, though, comes down. Recon Bolt will scout out a bit of information. Neptune has to sidestep, but the Boombot actually finds the kill, and tally that into more Boombot kills that we've seen so far between these 2 squads. Poise trying to defuse, but the problem here is there's just not enough time, and you've got good shock dart placement from Effys. That will be the round for V1. Just comes down to, will there be any following kills? The answer is yes, as all Rise members will die.
And the problem here is Anger died early. You saw Anger die, I think, before the spike plant even came through. If you really want to get a good sort of retake happening, you need to be able to wall up for your own defuse. The plant is so open that there is the ability for V1 to sort of swing on it, especially after all the utility's gone. So, I mean, the Boombot's gone, the Showstopper's gone. What else is really left at that stage in time? That's when it gets very difficult for V1 to play. They need to start going for the spike. There's no time left. They have to go for the defuse. It's completely in the open. Without your own Sage Wall coming up, it's hard to do that. So it's really, to me, Anger dying early that sets the stage for how big it's going to go. And for V1, just survive. Don't die too much of the Showstopper. Don't die too much of the other utility. They still lost so much of Showstopper and Boombot, but they still had enough left.
Aggressive defensive posture over through A for Rise. Bladestorm was used, and it looks like there was the Blast Pack challenge from Neptune. But there are no offensive contestants here, so Rise will turn their focus to playing through A and the middle of the map, trying to get behind this play from version 1 this time. Same setup largely, barrier orb and 1 sky smoke. Penny wants to get aggressive, but how about Showstime over the top? Considers trying to move through, but now we'll wait for a bit of help. The retake is multifaceted here, but the problem is version 1 has better weaponry overall, and less Poise can continue to find kills in the back, gets caught mid-reload. So 2v2 we go. Resurrection could be available, but Showtime, who you were looking at to largely find this elimination to the backside of green, will get caught with a cloud burst out, and Effys will clutch up the round in version 1. 4 straight offensive rounds.
And the thing for Rise there was, despite them getting like 3 kills, they couldn't recover any guns. So they still had the pistols at the end. The players that died on V1 were too far away. So for Rise to really challenge that round appropriately, especially late in the round where they got to go for the defuse again, if you really want to challenge properly without having guns, at that point V1 just play safe. They don't challenge angles. Wait for you to come on in. They'll have the range advantage as well. So V1 pretty comfortable in the last 4 rounds. As far as the actual gun rounds have gone after the initial pistol and anti-eco, it's been all V1, and this is almost a continuation from the success of the offense that we did see on Split, and Rise is still trying to find their mark on this particular defense. They have 4 going over towards A, though, so good read by them, and they have a single operator from Showtime on B, so they can hold that one by themselves, but A is where we're going to see the real action.
You do have player 1 sitting in spawn waiting for potential play through the back. And really, you're just looking, hopefully, for V1 that you can just win this out with good opening kills. Poised will respond. We stay 4v4. Resurrection, though, is available. And that's going to be used for bait. Neptune was baited out by the res. Gets taken care of by Effie's that doubles down. So now Zelsis will get a plant off. Riku will keep things somewhat level. But this is a 4v2 situation that unless you're going to commit to Showtime moving with an operator, you don't feel like there's much of a chance. Penny's going to wrap around the back of this. And he's going to be able to get a free kill at least onto Showtime. At least. There's one. The second caught. Wide peek. Riku finds the kill, but this is a very difficult 1v2 with only 30 HP to play with.
He might tap the spike just to see if he baits out a Hunter's Fury here. Swaps over to a Phantom. Will look for the kills. Knows he can't get the defuse. So damage is what's on the cards here. But damage is what he'll be taking instead from player 1. And 2 more alive from V1 at the end of the day. It's been bloody, I'll have to say that. I mean, it's not like V1 are rolling over Rise like what we saw in the offensive stages of Split. But on this particular map, I mean, let's look over this play again. I don't think the Resurrection fully formed yet, so you see the res come through. Neptune thought he had a timing. Neptune thought he was going to get the kill, but I don't think he missed a shot either. It's just that the Resurrection didn't kind of complete, and you can't kill the person until they pop out of that crystal thing. So a little bit unlucky there, and obviously he gets swung on. So partially baited, partially unlucky, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. It just comes down to V1 taking another gun round.
I mean, V1, it's just the nature that they're executing onto both sites so far. It hasn't just been one way or the other. This is looking like a team that is this is a team that is completely well fleshed out. Again, this is their map pick, but as Vanity and Zelsis are able to find kills, I can't remember the last time we saw an offense try to hit through Tube, and it's successful in a major way. Last player is Showtime. He falls just up to Neptune with the stinger. Good luck, have fun.
Yeah, must have left his trident at home. The Stinger's not quite good enough, not quite as good. V1, interesting plays. I mean, yeah, like you said, going through the tube. I mean, we know that they're going through tube. Like I mentioned before as well, Gen G to me are like the only other team that really play for mid. They've played through tube a few times on the offense. They've done stuff in mid. They play for orange. Most teams basically never go orange. They never go tube. They never go, you know, towards the flank over onto A as well. They don't go mid to A is what I'm saying. They don't go mid to anywhere. So it's something that catches Rise out. I mean, Rise are not prepared for that because they're not expecting any team to ever go there. And V1 are at the sort of place now where, like you said, they've gone A, they've gone B, now they've gone mid. Rise don't know how to anticipate any of the moves on this attack now.
Operator shot will come through, but Effie's gonna find 1 elimination plus damage onto 1 more. Resurrection will be out into the mix. Neptune gets aggressive, takes down Zelsis. This is looking much better for Rise overall. But Neptune's aggression will be punished eventually. So it's a 2v4 and tons of time to navigate this if you're V1. It just comes down to you're largely out of tools to find more kills safely. So it's going to have to be some incredible gun skill here.
So naturally, I've cursed V1 here by saying that Rise wasn't going to be able to find out where they were going to go. To be fair, Rise didn't find it. Rise kind of just placed people on towards A. They finally put an operator over towards A. And it works out pretty well for them. Possible contact in kitchen here. I mean, both Sages, are they going to meet each other? No, it's actually player 1 versus Anger, and it will be Anger at the end of the day. So V1, down to now just the 1. At least Effie's has a spike available, but this round is not going to be winnable anymore. Rise has got this for sure. Effie's knows it's so unwinnable, he's going to take the all because you might as well take as much as you can. And for Rise as well, this will be the first gun round they've won so far on this particular half, and they finally put the right pieces into place over towards A, which is something, you know, I think previously they've even had like 3 to 4 people on A, but they've never had like an opening operator pick. They've never had like opening picks that really go their way for a 5v3 situation or a 5v anything situation. Effie's will think about the plant here, doesn't trust it.
10 seconds
I mean,
left.
you've plenty of cash to purchase, so this could be a 1v4. Brilliant shock dart. Spike doesn't even get down, so Riku was down to 4 HP, and if I'm telling you, if that kill comes in, there is a big opportunity for him to turn this round into a plausible 1v4 possibility, but we'll be without it here. Again, good opening first bloods, and then Neptune getting aggressive, able to catch out Zelsis.
Yeah.
That largely at that point is the round. Last hope would have been that 2v4 play for player one, but that also denied. So nice little bounce back here for Rise, but you largely need to see a lot more of that if you want to try to exit this half 6-6.
And that's the thing as well, is like, it's not like V1 are currently sitting on 7 or 8 rounds. Rise have enough
Right.
in the bank that at 3 and 6, I think they can make a pretty decent recovery of this particular half. I think 5 is potentially still on the cards. 5-7 wouldn't be out of place at all. Depends on how this opening showstopper pick, well, not showstopper, showtime operator pick goes. Could have been a collateral as well if the head was picked. Not going to happen as showtime has to back away. Smokes will come down and the rotation coming in.
Yeah, quick reposition, though, gets the operator onto the high ground. Aldrone will just scout things out to see how many players are actually pushing through green. They'll deny that information. There's the same sky smokes that come down. You expect the barrier orb to be placed to block, but Showtime still finds one kill. No tailwind available, but still is able to get out of dodge. Lots of spam shots through the sky smoke. The RNG going the way of Vanity there. And the resurrection should also be safe to bring Penny back to the fight. So a 5v4 from here on out. V1 also has a lockdown if they want it.
Lockdown, showstopper, Neptune, what is he firing? Dies in the air, but at least will release the rocket. First of all, one alive now. Yeah, not a lot of HP for Anger is there, as Penny will clean things up, and operator on the floor somewhere as well if he wants to go on to that one. But offensive operator, yeah, not a lot of teams go for that anymore. So they just got the 1 round Rise previously, and they instantly lose the next, which is just kind of seesaw bouncing their economy all over the place. That's exemplified by the fact that Poise still has a Stinger coming into this round. They don't quite have full equipment. The rest of the players are deciding what kind of upgraded pistols or maybe SMGs they can even go towards. Neptune will have a single hero rifle, I believe. I don't think anyone else can purchase. Maybe Showtime will look towards a rifle. No, Showtime's going to go to the Blaze. Could actually drop a rifle for a teammate. I could give them 2 guns.
Well, not going to happen. Borderline potential greedy play here from Neptune, because if he falls with no kills, he will not be able to purchase a rifle in the next round. And the opening shots over the top of Mill. Again, you talk about how largely nobody goes over towards Orange. That's where first blood will occur. Vanity finds another that's onto Showtime, completely caught off guard. Penny up top denies the rotation, and gosh, man, it's just the creativity that we've seen from V1. They play slow at times, they play fast at times, they play from angles that you don't expect them to. I mean, the playbook is deep for this version 1 squad, and they've got a very favorable 4v2 situation in front of them because of it.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is going to be Rise going for it because they, you know, it's a save round for them anyway. I don't think they're going to save any rifles over. Could be a timing here from Anger. It is 2 versus 3. Can they get a few more kills maybe? Just the 1 now for Neptune. He was the one that had the hero rifle to start with, and it's good damage. Damage is not going to be enough to really slow V1 down because V1 have a considerable bank of money considering that they had, what, 6 rounds in a row plus 7 and 8 now for this 8-3 scoreline. But yeah, I think the creativity you mentioned from V1 on this attack has been pretty impressive because Icebox is not a map that has truly been figured out. I don't think teams are still trying different things out. We've gone Orange this time. They've tried A and B multiple times. You know, they've gone Tube at least once as well. And I think a lot of people looking at Icebox at first, it was a bit of a confusing map. It wasn't that great, but as time goes on, I'm actually enjoying this map a lot more because you're starting to see a lot more creativity. Other maps have been figured out, but Icebox definitely has not.
And is there something to be said about the fact that the Sky Smokes are being used instead of the Omen? I mean, we're seeing all 3 being used essentially at once, which seems to be one of the reasons why they want this Brim. Penny, tough timing there, had a chase down onto Anger, but couldn't quite lock the headshot, and Anger punishes for first blood.
Now we'll see if Poise can do something about this as well. Massive contact, and that's going to be a potential one-way smoke. It might have been Paranoia. I don't know if catches much. It does catch Effie's in 1 more. Player 1 that was. They got lined up as well. I think they might have got lined up, but it's not quite enough for them to both go down at the same time. Both of them will go down eventually, and Neptune for the eventual cleanup. And to answer the question from earlier as well, I think the Brim triple Sky Smoke is only really effective if you want to go for some very particular execute on either A or B where you need 3 smokes down at the same time, because otherwise I think 2 smokes coming down from Poised on the Omen, or, you know, adding an extra cloud burst from the Jet as well is enough. That will get you 3 smokes as well, roughly. And ultimately as well, you do have to look at the fact that Omen can smoke across the entire map, can teleport across the map as well, and has a lot of utility for actually finding off angles. Not that I think Poise is really abusing that so far. 4 and 8 is an okay recovery. I think 5 and 7 would have been the real target here, but they kind of just miss out on one of the extra rounds towards the end.
All right, well, can we see an offensive showcase from Rise? It is a bit required here. Again, this is V1's map selection after they, again, if you missed it, you missed out. I'm just going to sit there and say that. Down 11-1, they go into the offensive half of Split and win 12 straight offensive rounds. So something similar would have to be channeled here from Rise, although not necessarily to the same weight. How about this from version 1? Aggression through the middle of the map. Will anyone expect this? Absolutely not. It's a firing squad. 3 players waiting, 2 more across the back. Nice headshots. Will be an opportunity for some trades here. Nice patience from Riku and Poise. And so after everything is all said and done, we've got a 2v2.
With low HP as well onto Poised. Sage is dead, so neither team will have heals available. Killjoy utility still up and abound for player 1 so far, which is actually pretty important. That's not insignificant because we are moving towards B. Poise really needs to think about baiting his teammate here. Riku, who would likely, it should be the spike carry, because he goes down now. Spike is revealed, and that's going to allow V1 to start swarming around.
But Riku will collect this spike immediately. Player 1 has given up this angle up top. Riku, it's all about timing of this peak. There goes the challenge. Right click's missing. Oh, dicey 1v1, but player 1 eventually able to find a long wide peak, gets the elimination, and V1 take the pistol, now up 9-4, knocking at the door to see if they can get into the top 8.
Let's look at this opening again. You had V1 kind of walking down. Notice they don't get too aggressive. They just walk down mid. It's not like they're trying to push into spawn. It's not like they're trying to push, you know, for a massive flank. They're waiting to see if there's any possibility that Rise might come back towards the mid, and indeed they do, and they got massively rewarded for that one over towards the end as well into a 2v2. You got to say that, yeah, Rise kind of lose that round, but they at least make it a 2v2 workable. Poise going down early. Probably should have had Riku a little bit closer to trade. Riku tries to go. Riku dives away and tries to chase after Zos unsuccessfully.
No.
This round, though, it's already over.
Well, the Bulldog barks, the Bulldog bites, and an Ares also in the mix. Neptune even hurting himself off his own paint shells. Corner angle. Bullet hose for Effie's in hand. Finds the kill, and version 1. Oh, man. The only opponent that has been able to take them down in these open qualifiers has been FaZe Clan. And they're looking pretty primed to put themselves in a position to at least get to the top 8, if not maybe sneak their way in to maybe get into that Challengers main event. Don't count out Rise yet, though. They do have some big weaponry on hand here for this 3rd round of the half.
I gotta say, if V1 at one point on Split after the first half said 1-11 is still winnable, Rise have to look at the situation and say 4-10 is still winnable, because the comeback has been done. They were on the receiving end of that one, and some already early movements from V1 taking aggressive positioning over. Who is that on the other side? Riku, solo so far. Aldron should be able to spot a decent amount.
I don't know if it actually does see the Bladestorm wielding Jet right below is the thing. I mean, this is, again, an aggressive setup for version 1, but I think they're going to be able to get away from this. Rise, I don't think, know at all that Penny is down low looking through these screens. He's got a little bit of help up top. The headshot connects, and he gets a second, but Neptune and Rico trade things back. Early 3v3, but again, a lot of information here that V1 should know that Rise are likely going to stick over towards an A hit.
So those guns aren't retrievable, by the way. Rise do have a weapon advantage. It is their round 3. Obviously, V1 with the early 2 picks can't grab them. See if FX can pick something up. No, Ares is not going to be able to find any headshots at all. So 3v2 now. Both players going for the retake from outside the site, and player 1's down, leaving us with only Anger on a Spectre. Or Vanity, rather, on a Spectre.
But there are low health pools involved. He finds the first. Plenty of health remaining. A couple of sky smokes as well. Oh boy, both players are about a bullet each. And the little white dots will give you the information on where they are. He finds the second. This would be a 1v3 for Vanity! Why not get the spray involved? Why not do a little bit of shopping? Why not do a little bit more? Vanity clutches things up and puts version 1 up to 11.
Oh my goodness. 1v3. Defuse as well. He'll be working his way up until a, what is this going to be? 3 out of 7 now for the orbital strike. The gun is what you really care about. The gun is really good. No, he's actually 5 out of 7.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot to work with there. That is massive in terms of early round leads, in terms of trying to get some ult timings here. Speaking of ult timings, Rise will be there soon, but how does it start to fall apart? I mean, here we go. Losing a duel. Neptune losing that 1v1 has got to hurt. Riku tries to swing for it, and then Showtime swings as well. I think if you're Showtime, I mean, Showtime feels like I got the gun advantage. I know where the guy is. I should swing him and I should get this kill. But at that stage as well, you can just play for time. Run away. Smoke yourself away. Play for the fact that you got spiked down and the fact that, you know, Vanity has got time working against him. Rise getting a bit too aggro there. Get punished. Another walk down from V1. Let's see if they find purchase.
Oh, not this time, Poised. He gets taken out. Again, aggression from version 1. This team is just reeking of confidence right now. Offensively on Split, offensively on Icebox, and then continuing the aggression here defensively. Unreal scenes in a 5v4 situation and around that Rise. They need to win, and they're still not even through over to green. Neptune will eventually get a trade, but it comes at a maybe too steep of a cost.
Showstopper has been earned though, and I think that's not an insignificant thing for this particular round. That can definitely deliver you over another kill, assuming Neptune doesn't just die mid-air, and a lot of Razors have done so. Wall comes down, should be a plant. No one's going to stop this one. There's, you know, no shocks nearby. No mollies, no nothing. Celsius sees a barrel. Oh my god, he saw the barrel anchor and doesn't shoot.
Yeah, he thought he saw the recon bolt also reveal player to the backside of yellow and wasn't sure who was going to peek first and just gets caught looking the wrong direction. Slow orb will dissipate. Penny on the way forward. First one to try to make a play. Sees one. Riku, what are you looking at? Anger's able to find a response. Neptune one more in. Rise will salvage the post plant. 5-11. Resurrection earned. And like you mentioned also earlier on with the opening trade from Neptune, he also still has a showstopper to play with in this following round.
Yeah, I think Neptune opening up A is very important for that round. Yeah, they lost someone early on over to mid again, so more mid shenanigans from V1 that are kind of costing them. That's going to cause Rise to potentially leave one behind to look over to mid. At some point, Rise will feel like the V1 rundown, the pushdown is going to be punishable. It won't be coming this round because V1 aren't going to do it twice in a row, and I think Rise would know that as well. Spike looks like it's going to move over towards B to start things out with, and a lot of presence from V1 looking over towards A to start things out with as well, with 2 in mid.
Aggressive recon bolt just to see what's coming forward, maybe even also just to stall Rise out as they have to essentially at least consider the mid-map aggression. This time though, V1 playing a bit more passive, and Rise are taking their time as they're trying to work their way through green. The spike is not a part of this play yet though, and with Neptune lurking by A, he would likely be the one to collect it and bring it to B, pending that's where they choose to execute.
Look where the nanoswarms are, by the way, from player 1, so they're getting ready for the eventual push on to B. I think that at this stage they know no movement on A, no utility, no smokes, no nothing. So at this point in time, I do believe V1 are pretty sure Rise are going B. And when they do go B, if some players close by, slow orbs are going to come through, turrets there as well, which will confirm information. Then when the plant comes in, the nanoswarms should counter.
Standing ahead.
Celsius takes a lot of damage, down to 71 HP.
The swarms got cleared.
The swarms, I was about to say, do get cleared out. So all of that preset strategy is completely denied. Player 1 wants to get the immediate exit kill onto Anger, and he will. But Rise do get the plant off, and they have a Hunter's Fury to play with and a Showstopper to try to deny this. Sky Smoke's also coming down. Orbital Strike to clear off yellow. Can anyone make good on this is the real question, though. The second barrier Orbis plays, that's defensive. Now the Showstopper from Neptune has to make his way forward. He throws it in blindly, finds absolutely nothing. Version 1, opportunity, but Riku takes out Effie, who's on the spike. It's all chaos inside the Sky Smoke, but at the end of it, as soon as it dissipates, it's Version 1 all over it. They get the eliminations. Vanity 6 for the defuse, and V1 on match point.
This is huge. This has now completely stopped up any possible momentum for Rise. They got that one round just previously, number 4. We'll be able to buy up for this one, maybe uncomfortably. Some hero rifles, they're going to have to try their best. And okay, let's take a look at this round again. So the opening, I guess, paint shells cleared the nanoswarm. You saw the Showstopper miss there as well. Orbital Strike came on late. Straight after plant as well was when you saw Bull's Anger go down. So well played in terms of timing being found by the defensive side of V1 to be able to get that initial kill. And now that we've entered match point, there's a lot of ultimates on both sides. This one's going to get quite bloody, and the buy, it looks very average for Rise, but they're going to have to force everything they can.
I'll keep an eye on all 3 players mid-map. Considering moving through the middle, they'll back down. Aldrone will be sent to scout things out beyond this dark cover. Neptune will say, no infel for you. On the opposite side, Riku uses his to scout things out, and there is no one to see here over by A. So will Rise be pushing into this? I mean, it's essentially a potential bait because V1, they're now in position around the site. Also considering getting a barrier orb to boost, but the turret goes active. Penny, long peek, reads Riku like he was born up top of the rafters. My goodness.
They can't plant. There's a million mollies everywhere. Lockdown comes through. This is it. Rise are done.
Last player was Anger. No chance to do anything in version 1. Make a statement, why don't you, Fun? Oh my goodness.